primary, spice up your life. It is time for performing arts today. It's Thursday. It could only mean one thing. We are going back around the world with our tap dancing, clown school, and of course you are going to get some time to write those all-important sea shanties. There's 50 house points in my pocket. I've not got a pocket. Who's going to get them? Who's going to get them? I don't know. It is for you to decide with your skill and music writing prowess. But before all that, we will start with tap dance as we always do. Is your long hair back? You've got comfy clothes on, plenty of space to move, and water nearby. Let's tippity tap, people. Well, howdy, upper primary tappers, and are you ready for our warm up? The hold down. It's not the hold down, it's the honky tonk, isn't it? Let's get warm. And then if you remember, on Tuesday we were looking at doing the tap dance on the other side, weren't we? From the shuffle dance, whatever it is. So we're going to continue with that, but let's get warm first. Hop, hop, jump, in, shanty flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel. Let's give it a try. 5, 6, 7. Hop, jump, in, shanty flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel, flap, heel. Hop, out together, shanty flap, heel, flap. And you make nice clear flap sounds if you put a lot of pressure on the floor, make it quite loads of strength in them legs. All right, as always, we will do right and left side coming forward, and then you can travel around wherever the second time round. Let's bring our challenge up. 5, 6, here we go. Hop, hop, out, together, outside. All right, good. Get good at this now. All right, just have fun with it. Enjoy the chorus. Let's go where we want to go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Feeling good. I'm getting a lot of Teams messages here. All right, so as I have just said, doing it on the other side is the mission of the week. But first, we had best remember what it is on the original side, and then we can see what we added on Tuesday. So we're standing facing the side, feet just second. Here it goes. Ba-da-da-da. Head, go, turn around, stop, toe, 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 shuffle, stop, shuffle, toe, heel, out, in. Tap, step, go, change, walk, walk. Remember that? Then we've got the pick up heel thing. Pick up heel, heel toe. 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 I said everything the wrong thing, but you knew what I meant. Step, two, step. Bam, bam, bam. And then we had that like, bam. Dramatic arm thing that I just decided to add in. Remember? So that's heel, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, heel, toe, toe, heel, 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 toe, toe, heel. Okay? Then, my tapping friends, we started it on the other side. We've just done that ball change, so we've got this leg free. Shuffle, stop, shuffle, toe, heel. Yeah? Tap, out, in. And then we had them super tricky pick-up hop steps, or a pick-up step, or a skip, depending on where you're up to. Ba, 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 ba. And that was as far as we got on Tuesday. And we'll need to can't even speak. Tap step, we'll change our way over there in a moment, okay? Let's see if we remember that. Let's do it with the music all the way through on the first side. Then we'll have to go straight in, won't we, because of the music. We'll just go straight in and see what I remember. There's just no time to learn like the present. Alright. Oh, would you play?
Amalgamation A. Tacit and stop time.
Here we go. Head, go. What did a flat there? Shuffle, stop, shuffle, go here, go. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Maybe it is. It just felt really, really weird, and I've done it a million times. Very, very bizarre. All right, was that okay, people? Better than maybe me doing it. And can you see how I think I maybe held that little lingering moment a millisecond too long, which then got us out of time for the new side. So you have to really, really count, just like the rhythms we do in sea shanties. You have to really stay on it. So new side was shuffle, snap, shuffle, go heel and clap. Out, in, pick a hop step, pick a hop step, pick a hop step. That should give you this leg free to travel this way, opposite arm to leg, just like walking down the street. Don't do anything weird. Opposite side. So let's try the feet first. Tap, step, ball change, walk, walk. So tap, step, ball change, walk, walk. How do we remember that tap, step? Because sometimes when you do anything like what's it again? So a tap is a brush forward, step, behind, forward. So, tap, step, behind, forward. Try again. Tap, step, ball change, walk, walk. Okie dokie. So you've gone pick a hop, step, pick a hop, step, pick a hop, step. This leg, tap, step, ball change, walk, walk. Which gives us now this leg free. We've tried this step on both sides, so it really shouldn't be a biggie. It's just weird starting on the other foot. Heel toe, toe heel, heel toe, heel toe, toe heel, heel toe, toe heel, heel toe, toe heel. For some reason that's just all of a sudden feeling very alien. It's not. Yeah, it is. I don't know, yeah. And then we go straight into step turns, and this time we're going to go this way. Don't forget we're going to need to spot at a different side now. Remember I was spotting our head whipping or whapping or whatever I was saying. So you need to find something now on this ball. The step is out, in, out, and you turn on the end, just as a recap. Out, in, out, and the arms go out, in, out. Just second, first, second. So we go out, in, out. Then we have that long, do this leg now, ball change. And that's it, my friends. Okay, let's go from the tap, step, ball change down there again, just to really get it into our bodies, okay? 5, 6, 7, it goes. Tap, step, ball change, walk, walk. Yeah, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, toe heel, heel toe, heel toe, toe heel, heel toe, toe heel, heel toe, toe heel, step, turn, step, wait, wait, ball change, back, forward. And then you could essentially go exactly the same again on the other side, but I think we've run out of music. All right, friends. Shall we just try the left side for now on with the music? Let's try from the beginning, actually, from the left leg, from the whatever your other leg is. So, this side it goes. Shuffle, stop, shuffle, toe, heel, up, out, in. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Tap, tap, ball change, walk, walk, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, toe, heel, step, turn, step, da, da, ba-da. Step, turn, step, wait, wait, ball change. All right, my lovelies. Shall we? We've got a minute. Let's go for it. Let's try it with the music all the way through, right and left side, or left and right, depending on what we're doing.
Amalgamation
Let's
A.
be brave.
Tacit and stop time.
Head, go. Stop. Shuffle, step, shuffle, toe, heel, up. Change, walk, felt like we needed something else. With a little fake hat on or something. Maybe we need to think about that next week. Maybe I'll change it. I had this conversation with myself on Tuesday. All right, people, we are officially, our time is just buzzed. Super well done. We'll run that again next week and see how we can maybe extend it or rehearse it ready for show day. We've got 2 weeks left till show day. It's 2 weeks today. How exciting. But we had best move on. Let's be clowns. Okie dokie, upper primary actors, welcome back to Clown School, and I'm quite far away again because if you remember on Tuesday we had the entering the scene and sitting down and putting things on the floor, and if you were really up close you wouldn't really be able to see what I was doing. So we're going to work on that a little bit more. Now I noticed that I did promise you a little bit of our professional piece, and we Juilliard website's not working. It's gone down. I can't get it to work. So I have created an extension task for you, but that is if you would like to do some more drama in your own time. So this lesson's going to be kind of short from me, but you can pause at the end and do the task that I've set, okay? So let's just have a recap. On Tuesday, we started our theme, which was doing one thing at a time. And that was to really isolate our actions, that was what we were calling them, by splitting up every single time we need to move or do something in a very simple sequence. And then we added looking around and said we had to stay still every time we looked. And then we were up to adding the pauses, and I said we were going to give that another go, didn't I? So just as a recap, here is our phrase, our sequence, and if you can see from over there, the coloured words are a reminder to look and pause. And when we are looking, we do nothing else. And a pause is, of course, to wait briefly so we stop. So we are going to enter the space carrying the object. Now I've got my drum with me again. You might need to quickly go and grab an object. It can be any kind of prop that's handheld, a book, a bottle, a pen, a notebook, whatever you want, okay? We look around and we pause. Then we walk to the bench, which is a chair in my case. It can be your sofa, your bed, whatever you want. Pause. Look for a place to set the object. Pause. Set the object on the ground. Pause. Turn and face the front, look at the audience, and then pause. Then we sit on the bench and pause. Then we cross our ankles. So we take our time. And as you can probably tell by the speed I talk at, I'm not used to taking my time with anything. So this is a tricky challenge for me to slow down. Let's get off scene, off stage even, and give this a try. Okay, so here we go. Enter the space and look around. Pause. Notice a bench. Go towards it. Pause. Look around for somewhere to put your object. Pause. Put the object down. Pause. Come up. Look at the audience. Pause. Sit down. Pause. And cross those ankles. Pause. See. All right, so if you remember, we did try that once on Tuesday. And my question to you was, well, I had 2 questions for you, didn't I? How did the pauses change the sequence for you as a performer? And then what might it have changed for the audience? So let's think from the performer's point of view first. So we added looks and pauses. What did all of that do for you as a performer? Have a moment to think or tell someone in the room with you. So it's personal. How did it feel? All right, so obviously I can't hear any of your responses, although you're welcome to email me, ping me across if you want to tell me. I can tell you how I felt. It felt really slow. I had to really work on it because we're so used to just moving things and doing everything at the same time, and it really doesn't make any difference. And to think, okay, stop. 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 You have to really, really concentrate, don't you, on stopping in between. And for someone that moves and talks kind of quick all the time, always in a hurry, got lots to do, it makes you really step back. It almost makes you feel like a different person, especially the looking around thing, because everything's like in slow motion. Now, what does it feel for the audience, do you think? You weren't an audience member, so you're not sure. We've got to kind of guess that. What might that do for the audience? What might it change? Have a think or speak to someone next to you. All right, I mean, I guess it gives the audience a lot more time to take in what we're doing. And of course, we did touch on this on Tuesday. What does that mean for an audience, I guess, when the performers can't talk, they're non-verbal? Well, of course, it makes everything the focus on visuals is so important, because we can't tell you, oh, I've just entered the room and I'm going to have a look around because I've never been in this room before. We can't tell them that, can we? So we have to show it with our bodies. So this really is a sign to the audience. This is going to be a physical piece of theatre. There is going to be no talking, and I'm going to give you time to take in what I'm doing, because you're going to need to watch everything carefully to understand the story or the narrative. And of course, if you remember when we did history of clowning weeks and weeks ago, it feels now, 4 or 5 weeks ago, and we deciphered that clowns were meant to be basic, everyday folk, quite simple folk. They weren't brain surgeons, they weren't doctors. It was meant to be about normal, everyday people, kind of simple people, maybe, that go about and do things wrong and make mistakes, and that's what makes everybody laugh. So almost that walking quite slowly and doing everything really simply and basic and slow adds to that personality, doesn't it? Because if we were really switched on and quick and intelligent and bright, and we'd, maybe be a little bit more quicker in our moves. So it feeds in to that entire theory. Now, I'm going to give you an extension task. It is optional if you would like to do it. If you do want to do it, I would recommend you pause the video and come back for music. Can you now make up your I've put one instead of your own sequence of 8 actions? And don't forget, looking is counted as an action. So, we entered the space, looked around, walked to the bench, looked for a place to put the object down, turned to face the audience, sat down, crossed ankles. That was our 8, and there was a couple of looks in there. You can be as creative as you want but don't forget to practice isolating your actions, so have a pause between each one. Perhaps it can involve a bottle of water. It can do kind of like our mask stuff, where you found a prop and how you reacted to it. 8 simple instructions, pause between them, and don't forget looking counts as an action. Have some fun with that, guys. Pause the video if you'd like to do that, and if not, let's move on to music. Well, shiver me timbers, it's time for our sea shanty lesson. And I have put up our slide that we did last time when we were thinking about rhythm, and I told you about Mr. Holland's epic sea shanty fails. Every time he sees me, he tries to write one off the top of his head, and his rhythm is shocking because it doesn't repeat, and it's not easy for sailors to do tasks to it. So we had a bit of a song and a dance and a clap, didn't we, on Tuesday, looking at 3 famous sea shanties and finding the river, remember, and how they would repeat in verses and choruses. So the only thing really that I want to tell you today, before I give you a little bit of time to work on yours, is measures. So we learned rhythms on Tuesday. Now we're going to look at what measures are. A measure is a section of time within music that is counted with beats. Okay? You can kind of hear in music every so often one beat is a little bit stronger than the others, and one beat is a little bit stronger than the others. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What? And we can tell, with that song, it's because the line repeats, the what is the beginning of a new measure. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do? Yeah, it's every single time, okay? Now, most popular music is in 4/4 time, and I believe all of our sea shanties are, which means you count in fours. So if we think of, what shall we do with a drunken sailor? How many times did I just clap there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Count it as I sing. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Yeah, and so it goes. It's really easy to count in fours. And if you think about basically all of the dances that we've done, we count in eights, which is 2 lots of 4, obviously mathematicians, and because all of our pop songs have been in fours. So 1, Mamma Mia, 4, 1, here I go again. My, how can I resist ya? Bum, Mamma Mia, bum. Does it show? Yeah. Upper primary, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. They're all in fours. Basic music, popular music, musical theatre music, loads and loads of music is in fours. So, just to make sure that we understand, I'm going to put our 3 banging tunes on again, and let's see if we can count the measure and really listen to when the tune has a strong beat in, or when a new line starts. Let's have Blow the Man Down.
Blow the man down, Lunis, blow the man down.
So feel that tempo.
Blow them down.
New line, 2, 3, 4. New line, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Can you hear that? So the rhythm is different. That is the short and the long notes and the pauses. Measures, you count in equal beats, equal gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? Let's try our Weller Man. The UK's number 1. I think even the tune might have 4 beats at the beginning.
There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was a belly of tea. The winds blew up her bow, up down, oh below my bully boys blow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tongue in his hand, we'll take our leave and go.
Measure!
She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in
Rhythm!
Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tongue in his hand, we'll take our leave and go. That.
Yes? Last one. Drunken Sailor, nice and easy. Let's find that measure. 2, 3.
What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? Lying in the
Rhythm!
way, hey, and she rises way, hey, and she rises way, hey, and she rises early in the morning.
Measure!
With the rusty razor,
See how every line starts with the 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Rhythm!
hey, hey, and she rises way, hey, and she rises way, hey, and she rises early in the morning. We'll put 'em in a lump.
Yes, there's just something about the Drunken Sailor that just makes me want to do a jig. And I'm not drunk, I promise. So, does that make sense? Why is that so important? Because you're going to need them in your song. If your measure is all over the place, it's going to be really difficult for the audience to understand when to join in, how to clap along, okay? So I would recommend your measure is in a 4. So every line you sing will be starting on a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I'm going to start a new line now. Whoa, yeah, just make it, and even if it's a slow one, dun, 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 it's still much scratches, 4 counts. Even if the song is going to be slow, yes, it can still fit into 4 equal claps. So what have I written? Rhythm and measure are particularly important in sea shanties because these songs are used to help the sailors carry out the tasks. So they have to have some sort of repetition in there. So like I've said, must be very clear and repetitive. So your task for this week, look back over the lines you have so far. Can you start to create a rhythm that is repeated in every verse and chorus? So maybe one line's really, really long and one line's much, much shorter. Maybe you need to change some of the words and think of different words that match. Don't change all the lyrics. For goodness sake, no, we're miles too far into this. But if something's like fellow and it takes too long, maybe you could change it to man. Or if man's too short, add fellow. Do you know what I mean? Like, think of sail, sailing, if you need an extra beat. Look through your words, try and get the rhythm that can last every line. So, whatever you say, it will fit that rhythm. See what I mean? You can kind of dwindle it a bit. And even that rhythm was in pause every time. Boom. Okay? So you might need to change your words you have written a little so the lyrics fit into your rhythm. Next, try clapping along as you read your lyrics out loud. Can you fit 4 steady claps in each line without speeding up to get them in or slowing down? They have to say the same rhythm every single time. Make any changes to your song lyrics as needed. You are more than welcome to write more this week if you are running low on time. We've got 2 weeks left after this lesson. But make sure what you've got has got a solid rhythm. We might start looking at tune next week. And it's going to be really difficult to think of a tune if the rhythm isn't right. So that is my challenge for you today, sailors. Crack on with that. Enjoy. Have a good old clappity dance with your new rhythm that you've created. And have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week.